Sri Vyasa Maharshi, the compiler of all the four Rig, Yajur, Sama and Atharvana Vedas, the author of the grand epic of Mahabharatam, the biological great-grandfather of the both sides in Mahabharatam, the author of 18 Mahapuranas, the author of Brahma Sutras, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam. The list goes on, and to put it simply, without Vedavyasa, there is no Bharat or its rich spiritual heritage. Nothing would have existed without Vedavyasa Maharshi. And we all are quite familiar with this. But this short video is something what we don't know about Vyasa Maharshi. So let's get started. Va. This is quite an interesting letter, and it has a very deep meaning in Sanskritam. Let's take a couple of words in understanding it. University. In Hindi, we call it Vishwavidyalaya, and in Telugu, we call it Viswavidyalayam. Same way, diameter. In Hindi, we call it Vyasa, and in Telugu, we call it Vyasam. Another example, elaborate. In Hindi, we call it Vistruta, and in Telugu, we call it Vistrutamaina. If you observe, there are two common traits in these kinds of words. Number one, they all start with the root word Vyasa, Vishwavidyalaya, Vyasam, Vistruta. And if you observe, one commonality in all these words are, these words explain the expansiveness of a specific thing. It's an adjective more or less. Vishwavidyalayam. Vishwa means universe, that sense of expansiveness. Diameter, the largest one in the circle or in the sphere. Elaborate, explaining that expansiveness. In all these connotations, this root word Vishwa or Vyasa, Vistrutamaina, these words are used. What I want to tell you with these examples is the word Vyasa is more of an adjective than a noun. It is more of a title than a name. When I refer to someone as Vyasa, it means that that person has an in-depth knowledge about a specific subject and is kind enough to elaborate that specific subject for the benefit of humanity. This is the meaning of the word Vyasa. As I said, this letter Va has quite a deep meaning. And if you want to understand it in more depth, try to read the meaning of the first slokam of Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam. Visvam Vishnur Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu Bhutakrut Bhuta Pridbhavo Bhutatma Bhuta Bhavanaha. Visvam Vishnur Vashatkaro. What are the meanings of these words? It all explains about the expansiveness of Sri Mahavishnu. Like I said, the word Va, like I said, more than a letter, Va itself is a word that explains about the expansiveness about a given subject. And coming back to Vyasa, Vyasa means the one who has extensive knowledge and elaborated it for the benefit of humanity. Let's go to Linga Puranam to understand a very important context about Vyasa. This is a conversation between Suta Maharshi and his disciples. Vyasavatarani tadha dvaparamte cha sukrutaha dvapare dvapare vyasaha kevai krutrantreshu ve kalpeshu kasmin kalpe no vaktrumahasi chatratan. These are the words of Suta Maharshi to his disciples. In every Dvapara Yugam, there is an incarnation of a Vyasa who brings down the divine knowledge to the humanity. I will narrate to you the details about all the Vyasas that came down till now. This is quite an interesting slokam from Linga Puranam. Vyasa Maharshi, as we know, is not just one person. There are many Vyasa Maharshis. In every Dvapara Yugam, there is an incarnation of a Vyasa Maharshi who brought down divine knowledge about various aspects in Sanatana Dharma. And in this part of Linga Puranam, Suta Maharshi elaborates about all the Vyasa Maharshis and their time periods in very detailed manner. कृतः सत्ये भार्गवश्च अंगिराः सविताद्विजाः मृत्युः शतक्रतुर्धीमान् वसिष्ठो मुनिपुङ्गवः सारस्वतस्त्रिधामाचरत् त्रिवृतो मुनिपुङ्गवः शततेजाः स्वयं धर्मो नारायण इति श्रुतः तरक्षुश्चारणीं ध्रीमांस्तथा देवः कृतम्भ्ययः ऋतञ्जयो भरद्वाजो गौतमः कविसत्तमः वाचः श्रवाः मुनिः साक्षात् तथा शुष्पायणिः शुचिः तृणबिन्दुर्मुनिरुक्षः शक्तिः शाक्तेय उत्तरः जातुकर्णो हरिः साक्षात् कृष्णद्वैपायनो मुनिः. These are the words of Suta Maharshi to his disciples, and I would say these are the golden slokas that explain about the lineage of Vyasa Maharshi-s. There are 28 Vyasa Maharshi-s, and the last one, as we know, is the Krishna Dvaipayana Muni. Now let's try to understand what are the names of those 28 Vyasa Maharshi-s, which is nothing but the translation of these slokas. And this is the great grand lineage of 28 Vyasa Maharshi-s that we have in every Dwapara Yugam till now, starting with Kratu, Saptya, Bhargava, Angirasa, Savitra, Mrityu, Satakratu, Vasista, Saraswata, Tridhamam, Trivritta, Satatejas, Dharma, Tarakshu, Arunim, Kritanjaya, Ratanjaya, Bharadwaja, Gautama, Vachasravasa, Sushmayani, Suchi, Trinavindu, Ruksha, Shakti, Parashara, Jatukarnaya, and Krishna Dvaipayana. 28 Vyasa Maharshi-s in every Dwapara Yugam of every Manvantara, every Kalpa. Of course, there are more Dwapara Yugas, but it is given that there are 28 incarnations of Vyasa Maharshi-s happened till now. And who is the 29th? That would be Ashwadhama. The Ashwadhama of Mahabharatam would be the next Vyasa Maharshi, and that topic is for another day, and we'll see that in detail. But for now, these are the 28 incarnations of Vyasa Maharshi. And the most unfortunate thing is we don't have the knowledge given down by these Vyasa Maharshis in its entirety. We have bits and pieces of it surviving. For example, Vasista Maharshi's Dhanurveda Samhita and Yoga Vasistam are the two known scriptures that we still have. And the same way, Parasara Samhita, given by Parasara Maharshi, father of Krishna Dvaipayana, that also survived. And there are few of others, but a vast majority of the knowledge given by all these Vyasa Maharshis is just lost in time. Irrespective of any political connotations, Bharat is revered as Vishwaguru and Veda Bhumi, the land of knowledge, for a reason. And that reason is just what you are seeing on the screen right now. And it is also a tradition that in every Dwapara Yugam, the Vyasa Maharshi of that specific Dwapara Yugam has 4 disciples. And these 4 Sishyas of that Vyasa Maharshi promulgated the knowledge down to the entirety of humankind of those times. And following the tradition, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa Maharshi had 4 disciples, Paila, Vaishampayana, Jaimini and Sumanta. And they eventually promulgated the 4 Vedas to the entirety of humankind, what we know today. And interestingly, this tradition is continuing even till today as we speak. Let's try to understand how. The legacy of Veda Vyasa Maharshi is re-established and restored by Sri Adi Shankaracharya in Bharat through 4 Pithas what we have today in Badrinath, Puri, Sringeri and Dwaraka. Another very interesting subject about Vyasa Maharshi elaborated in Linga Puranam is Sri Mahavishnu takes up the incarnation of Vyasa Maharshi in every Dwapara Yuga, and Lord Shiva takes the incarnation of the Sishyas of that specific Vyasa Maharshi in every Dwapara Yuga again. And that apparently is true, as they say, Vyaso Narayano Harihi and Sankara Sakshat. Without Veda Vyasa Maharshi and Sri Adi Shankaracharya, there is nothing like Bharat, there is nothing like Sanatana Dharma. Without these 2 great gurus, there is not a single thing in Bharat that would have survived in the philosophical and spiritual context of Bharat. And that is in short about Sri Veda Vyasa Maharshi and the 28 Vyasa Maharshis that we have, to whom we are eternally indebted. This is part of a series that we are trying to bring up from Project SHIVOHAM with the name RUSHI. In this series of RUSHI, we are going to bring forward all the great rishis and munis that we have, the great gurus who gave us enormous amount of knowledge. And the most unfortunate part is we don't even know the names of those great grand rishi lineage. And in this web series, we are going to bring forward the short videos about all the great rishis and sages and munis that we have in Bharat. And from Project SHIVOHAM, we take this as our bare minimum responsibility to, at the very least, know the names of these great rishis. Hence, RUSHI. And as always, thanks for watching.